welcome everyone who has already joined. And my name is Georgi, and today we'll be talking about really specific topic, really interesting one, especially for me at least. So for those also who sign up, definitely also. So we are going to talk about studying sports in Germany, and we have our guests who will be talking about one of the programs that deals with sports in Germany. So it's going to be really interesting. But before we move to this presentation, let me actually start my presentation, short presentation about what is MyGermanUniversity, some interesting details about studying in Germany that might be useful for you, and then we'll jump into our main key presentation. So just as a note that our students can send their messages using the Q&A button, which you can see in the bottom part of your Zoom interface. There you can already start sending out your questions. I have already some received from you guys, which I will definitely ask. But yeah, if you have any more questions, please write them down in the Q&A. And also when we finalize with our presentations, we will have a short, brief live Q&A session as well, in case there will be some questions that are left unaddressed. All right, so let me jump into my part. And yeah, this topic is studying sport in Germany, and who is organizing this webinar? It's MyGermanUniversity. You may know us already from our previous webinars as well. So we are Germany's largest database of English taught study programs. If you go to our webpage of mygermanuniversity.com, you will be able to find over 2,300 programs, both on bachelor and master levels. But at the same time, we have programs represented like short courses and language courses as well. There are lots of filters which you can use according to your interests, according to your background, and these filters help you to quickly and easily find the best fitting programs for you. So yeah, one of the ways of our main aim, to be honest and to be short, is to help students like you towards the ways on their way to studying in Germany. And one of the ways is through our study finder and its filters. So the second way is through writing out our articles. Now we have exactly 75 comprehensive articles, and we are writing up more. So when topics are different, ranging from rankings to uni-assist, we also cover topics like scholarships, visa, etc., etc. So really comprehensive ones. I totally suggest you and recommend to, if you are interested in one of these topics, to read the articles as well, in addition to attending our webinars. And regarding our webinars, we have approximately 150 webinars per year minimum, plus also we have sometimes different format of meetings like Q&A meetings, etc., and the topics are different. We have webinars or meetings about scholarships, about uni-assist, about application strategies. Also, we have subject webinars like today's one, where we have representatives of the programs and universities that join our webinar, and you can have a unique opportunity to ask questions to the people who possess the best possible knowledge about this or that particular program. So the subjects are also varied. It can be physics, biology, electrical engineering, political science, or sports like today. So different topics. You can find out about upcoming webinars on our website, mygermanuniversity.com, and you go to the section webinars and you can sign up for the webinars for free. Also, if you want to unlock all the options that you in order to freely use lots of options of our website, I would also suggest you to create an account to sign up for that. And it's also absolutely for free. About our team, so we are based in Hamburg in Germany, but our team is international. We are not only around Germany, but also around the world. We have people who are based in Brazil, who are based in China, who are based in Spain, etc., etc. And we also counsel in different languages, starting from English, of course, and even reaching out to Georgian. All right, so let me introduce to you now our webinar agenda. It's a short one. It's an exclusive webinar for University of Saarland, and we have our guests from there who will be presenting master's program, Master of Science program in high performance sport, which is going to be really interesting. I had a glimpse through the program also, and it looks really interesting, and we'll have more information from our guest. But before we turn to him, really shortly, about two databases I would like you to know when it comes to studying in Germany. So if you are more into German taught study programs, then probably Hochschulkompass would be your stop. And you can see that why for English taught, I'm saying that because they have 18 programs in their database in English, which is related to sports. But if you are more into English taught study programs, then MyGermanUniversity should be your stop, definitely, because we all have always much more programs listed, English taught programs. And for example, in this case, we have 29 degree programs for sports. 6 of them are bachelor, and all the 6 are English only, and 23 master, and 21 of them are English only when it comes to sports. For those who don't have any idea of what does it mean to study sports in Germany, what are the rankings of universities and programs that are offering these kind of programs, what are the tuition fees range that you should expect, or what are the application, admission, or language requirements to get into one of these programs, I would suggest you also to check out our subject pages that we have for each subject. And there you can collect this kind of general information and have a glimpse into what does it mean to study, in this case, sport in Germany. So for the beginners, it mostly is for the beginners. For those who are deeply into already the topic and know exactly, maybe not be of a great help, but for those who are not yet sure about it, this would be a really great source from my perspective. About our tip, yes, of course, everyone would like to search for a right university profile and study program, but sometimes students are really heavily basing their search on things like rankings or names. Like, for example, I want to study only in big cities like Berlin and Bayern, Munich. Yeah, this is of course great cities, and there also the universities are ranked quite high in international rankings like THE, etc., and QS. But this is not the right approach from my perspective to search only based on this, because especially the rankings, you can be easily mistaken, because not all the rankings, and actually most of the rankings do not catch those important points that are important for you and interesting for you. So they're might be quite subjective. So that's why don't be guided by only these kind of quantitative metrics or by names only. Dig deeper into it, because in Germany there are much more. There are lots of towns and cities with great universities offering great quality education programs. So you would not like to miss any of them. Regarding the types of universities that you can find in Germany, there are 2 types that I would like you to know about. So the first type of university is so-called Universität type of university. And when you go to our study finder, you can even use the filters and, for example, to search the programs which are offered by sports programs, which are offered only by this type of university. You can search for them, and you'll be able to find 19 programs in this subject offered by Universität. And also there are universities of applied sciences, another type of program. You can see the German names. They are quite it's difficult to pronounce. That's why I will not pronounce them. You can then try at home, or if you want to know how to pronounce, just let me know. And yes, these kind of universities offer 10 programs in sports or related subjects, and you can find all of them at our study finder. Of course, then you would ask, Georgi, you tell me about Universität and University of Applied Sciences, but what is really the difference between them? Because in our country, we don't have it. It's a really reasonable question, but for now, I will not dig deeper into details and history between the difference between these 2 types of universities. But I think what you should know, the main takeaway from today should be the focus of these 2 universities. So Universität type of university is more about research and theory, while University of Applied Sciences is usually more about into application and practice. So this is the main takeaway that I would like you to know from today. But of course, if you have more questions regarding it, please, you can also contact me via email, and I will let you know how by the end of the webinar. And last suggestion from my side is that when you're searching for programs in sports, for example, in this case, don't be restrictive, don't be quite a bit more flexible in terms of wording when you try to find a program. Sometimes when you just write sport, you might not find the program that fits you the best. There might be some different wordings that will help you not to miss out any programs that exactly fit your interests and your background the best. So yeah, be more flexible in your search, and I'm sure you'll be able to find the program that you are dreaming of. And with that said, now we will move to the most important and interesting part of our today's presentation. As I said, we are in Saarland now, so it's quite south of Germany. almost France. So yeah, we have our guest, program coordinator, Dr. Florian Beaudouin, and he will be talking about Master of Science in High Performance Sport, as I said. So let me stop sharing my screen and invite Dr. Florian to the floor.
First of all, thank you very much, Georgi, for the invitation and the short introduction of my person and our program. And thanks, of course, to MyGermanUniversity for the invitation. And thanks everyone who's listening. And as Georgi said, if you have any questions after my short talk, you can ask all the questions. But the first important thing I need to mention, we have an own website. It's called Master High Performance Sport.de. So on that page, you can find all the relevant information. There you can find all the requirements. If you decide to apply, you can find all the different dates when the deadline is, for example, for this winter term, which is the next regular intake. The deadline is this year, July the 15th. So you find all that information. You can also find information about any fees that might occur, but that's very important. That's why I say right here at the beginning, our program is tuition free. That means you don't have to pay anything for this program itself. The only fee, that's just a general thing in Germany, you have to pay around 250 up to 300 euros per semester. But that is a fee that you pay to the general university. But that covers like public transport, that covers like insurances, but you don't have to pay for the program itself. So that's a very important thing. That's why I'm going to say it right now, because a lot of questions pop up asking about how much does the program cost, is it expensive, etc. So this is tuition-free program, but you have to pay, of course, a little bit of money for the general. So as I said, you find all relevant information that might not be in my short presentation on our website. So there you find all the requirements and how you can apply. So we have a step-by-step guide that gives you a lot of information, what kind of documents you need to prepare, where you can submit your documents. So it's like a portal on our university website. So don't worry about that. You find all the important information. So first of all, let's have a quick look at this picture. This is where our university is located, or this is how it looks like. So it's very green. So we are basically in the middle of the woods. So it's a very nice landscape where our university is located. We have a main campus, which is on the upper side of that picture. As you can see, it's a very huge campus. And the very important thing about our program and our university, we are very close to Olympic Training Center. That's important for our program because we want to deal with athletes at some point in our lives or in some point of our program. So you can see at the bottom of the picture, that's the Olympic Training Center, where all the athletes, the Olympic athletes and other athletes train. So this is very unique for us that we have the university on one side and we have the Olympic Training Center on the other side. And we are in the middle of that with our institutes. So Saarland University has about almost 17,000 students. And what's really important, we are a very international university. So up to 20% of all of our students are international students. So this is very important. So if you are from other countries, it's absolutely okay because the whole university is international. So if you speak English, you get along pretty well. So that's very unique, I would say, in Germany. Of course, other universities have a lot of international students as well. But I think for our Saarland University, that's great to have up to 20% international students and around almost 50,000 employees in total. Saarland University is located in the capital of the state Saarland. This is the capital. It's called Saarbrücken. So it's super nice, but it's not that big. That's something I need to mention. We have around 180,000 residents. So it's a rather small state and a small city. But nonetheless, the university is pretty huge. And this, Yogi already showed you that picture. This is where we're located. So we are very, very close to the French border. We are very close to Luxembourg, and it only needs or takes 2 hours to reach Belgium, almost 3 hours to reach the Netherlands, and if you're very fast, only 2 or 3 hours to reach Switzerland. So that's very important. So we are super close to all the different countries, which offer great opportunities, for example, to work, to have other connection or a huge network to other universities in other countries. So that makes it really good for us to be located very close to these borders. And when it comes to our program is a Master of Science. In Germany, sometimes you see Master of Art programs, but we are a research-oriented program. That's why it is a Master of Science, high performance sport. So what is our aim? Our students who will become alumni after a couple of years, so we try to qualify these sports scientists for any jobs in professional or high performance-oriented sport. So that's the major field we try to get our students in during their studies and also after the studies. But not only in the industry or somewhere else, but also our students should be qualified for any academic positions. For example, you want to pursue a PhD program after your Master of Science, that's absolutely possible. So that program qualifies you for a higher academic position, such as a PhD program, mainly in the field of high performance research fields. And when it comes to our program, it has a duration of 2 years. In Germany, 1 year consists of 2 semesters, 2 terms. You have a winter term and you have a summer term. So you have 4 semesters in total, and you have to gain 120 credit points. And in our program, we have different units. So first of all, in the first semester, you will start with the mandatory units, and those are called generic aspects. Here, it's all about different methods, basic theories, research modules. And after that, you have different elective units. And those elective units, they have many different areas of that field, high performance sports. And we have 4 different core modules. Number 1 is medicine and exercise physiology and high performance sport. This will be covered by my own institute. So we are the Institute of Sports and Preventive Medicine from our medical faculty. But the other department or the other institute that's involved in the program is the Sports Science Institute. And that has the sport psychology area, the socioeconomics area, and the strength and conditioning department. So in total, we have 4 different departments who are involved in that program. So strength and conditioning, sport psychology, and socioeconomics. When you get the acceptance to our program, you have to choose 2 specialist modules from these core modules. For example, your interest is medicine and biomechanics, for example, that would be strength and conditioning. So you can choose medicine and strength and conditioning as your specialist areas. So those will be your main focus of the program. But nonetheless, you have to choose at least a single seminar worth 5 credit points out of the areas sport psychology and socioeconomics, so that you also get a short view into these 2 different fields, although they are not your chosen specialist modules. But as I said, you have to choose 2 different specialist modules that will be your main focus of your studies. The regular intake, as I said before at the beginning, is winter term. So if you decide to apply for this winter term, keep in mind that the deadline is July the 15th. And this is how the overview looks like. So you have the mandatory unit at the beginning. Those modules are worth 10 credit points. It's called research design and analysis. And you have a second mandatory unit that's called organization, evaluation, and quality assessment. So that is something you cannot choose, you have to do it. So those 2 modules are mandatory. And then you will have the next step, you will go into the compulsory elective section. So you have your specialist areas. So each specialist area has 20 credit points. So in total, 40 credit points. And you have on the other side the supplementary modules. So anything you're going to elect out of the huge field we offer. So you have to gain 40 credit points out of these freely selectable modules. That could also be a language course. That could be also other courses that are well closer, that are linked to sports science, sports medicine, sports psychology, or socioeconomics, or biomechanics. So we have a huge range of different modules you can choose. 40 credit points. And in the end, you have the master thesis. That's 20 credit points. So in total, you have to reach 120 credit points. I will show you two tables so that you have a look what the specialist model looks like. So let's start with the first mandatory unit, research design. So the organization and evaluation module. Each of these two modules consists of two separate seminars. So the first one, advanced statistics, that's something we all need to go through to get some information about statistics, applied statistics, and general research designs. So that is typically in your first two semesters. Then we have the second module. There we talk about organizational theories and organizational management. And the second seminar will be evaluation and quality assessment. On the right side, you can see the assessment. That's not so important right now. That just means that there is an end of module exam after these two seminars. And when it comes to the specialized modules, let's have a look at the socioeconomics of elite sports. So you have 4 different seminars in each of these specialized modules. So you have the socioeconomics in high performance sports, you have doping, worldwide and prevention, and you have advanced research methods. When you choose medicine and physiology, then you have advanced exercise physiology, you have athletes musculoskeletal assessment, or you have injury prevention or mechanism of training adaptation, which is very medical in a way, but that's what the specialist model is all about. So, but if you decide, okay, now medicine and social economics is not my main field, you can choose strength and conditioning, which consists of 2 different biomechanics seminars, training programs in elite sports, training and monitoring processes in an international context. When you are in sport psychology, it's about coaching, communication, and stress management. So skill acquisition in motor and cognitive domains, elite performance, or the fourth seminar is called career transitions. So as you can see, very broad different seminars within these different specialized modules. And when you have chosen your 2 specialized models, and after the first 2 semesters you have done that, so you have most likely finished these specialized modules, there's a 3rd and the 4th semester in front of you. And then you can choose a lot of different modules from our freely selective area. That can be anything out of these different modules. So you can choose talent identification and development, recovery management, which is rather medical, applied practice in elite sports, training the endurance athlete. We have another main focus of our institute is football. So you can choose science and medicine and football. If you're rather interested in nutrition, we have a module called sports nutrition. When you're into training programs or strength and conditioning, you can have physical exercise and measurement. Or if you're into psychology, it's about diagnostics and training in the field of sport psychology. And then we have different other relevant topics in high performance sports, such as sports hygiene, which we offered the last 2 summer terms in times of COVID. It was really important. So in that module, we have ever-changing topics, everything that pops up in that time, like COVID, and talk about sports hygiene. So it's like a surprise what kind of module will be there. And then you can also, recommend to do work placements, to do internships, to do research projects, so that it's not only theoretical, but that you also work on your network, that you try to get a foot inside of any field, that you learn how to work with athletes, because we want you to, the moment you finish your studies, we want you to find a job immediately, of course. So that's why it's always a big recommendation from our side that you try to get as much practical experience as you can get. So that's why when you show up at the first semester, during the first semester, try to do as many internships as possible. Try to be involved in research projects, do work placement. So that's really an advice from my side. Even if you go to other universities and if you want to study other programs, practical experience is a key. So the theoretical part is very, very important, that you have your expertise, but you also need that practical experience so that you get right into a new job. An advice from my side. So this is an overview about the 4 semesters, how it might look like. So on the left side, you can see 1, 2, 3, 4. Those are the different semesters. So you have the first semester and the second semester. So this is all about the mandatory units and your specialized modules. Once you finish that, you proceed to the 3rd and 4th semester. And here you choose your freely selected. And as we are a very international program, I mean, the language is English, and we have a lot of different international students. And we have a lot of international partnerships. That means we have many different universities that are on our partner list. So we really recommend, if you have the chance and if you're interested, try to do a study abroad period. Try to study 1 semester somewhere else, or try to do an internship in another country. Try to work on your international network. And in the end, in the 4th semester, you can have some more freely elective modules and a master thesis. So if you, I don't know what any reason might occur, but if you cannot finish in 4 semesters, that's not a big deal. You can also finish in 5 or 6 semesters. For example, if you have a study abroad period, or if you have an internship that lasts longer than the break in between the semesters. So that's not a problem. Okay, so we are very flexible here. And as I said, we have some agreements with other universities. So the first one is with Australia, the UTS, the University of Technology in Sydney. Here we have an international exchange program with Sydney via Erasmus, which is in Europe. We have an internship agreement with Liverpool in England. We have a study exchange agreement with the Netherlands, the University of Groningen, and we have an internship agreement with College Dublin, so the University College Dublin in Ireland. Those are our main partners. But we have many different students who are interested in other universities, and they made contact to these universities. So we were able to send them to those universities as well. So in the end, we made contact, we set up a learning agreement, and that was very good. So if you're not interested in any of these partners, but of course you have to apply to us to go there. But if you're interested in going somewhere else, we have many different opportunities, possibilities. We try to help you in any way to get a foot in another international universities. We started 4 cohorts ago, so that means 4 years ago. So we have our first alumni. This is just some of them. We have in the meantime, we have a couple of more. But for example, we have 2 PhD students. One is in Australia, who went there for his master thesis, and he just stayed, and now he got a PhD position. We have another student who is rather in the medical field. He's at the Institute of Physiology. We have another PhD candidate at our own institution, so our Institute of Sports and Preventive Medicine. We have 2 sports scientists who work in football. So one works in Belgium in the first league as an athletic coach. We have one in the second league, so it's like the youth academy. in Hanover. So the men's team is the second Bundesliga. We have a sports nutritionist who works for a huge company that sells bicycles. So we have a very broad area how our alumni, or where our alumni might work in the end. So as I said, more and more students are finishing their studies. So the list is a bit longer in the meantime. And that's my short presentation. I didn't create a slide with all the requirements because everything is nicely written on our website. So if you add the website to your Google Master High Performance Sport, you can see what you need to have to be able to apply. In general, we have up to 20, 25 free places. It always depends. You need to have a bachelor's in sports science or related field. Yeah, so if you have a bachelor that is not sports science specifically, but it's a related field, you can apply. Such applications will undergo a separate review by our committee of the department or the university, but that is also possible. As the language is English, you need an English test. If it's your mother tongue, that's absolutely fine. If you studied your bachelor or if you did your high school time in an English-speaking country and you can prove that, that's fine. But all the other applicants, they need an English test. On our website, you can see all the different tests we accept. And please, I receive a lot of questions. Hey, can I do that test? That's not on our website. And always say, please see our website. Those are the 3-4 tests we accept. So if you have the chance, please do these tests because that's absolutely accepted. If you do something else, we cannot guarantee that the committee will say, okay, that's equivalent to the other tests we offer, the other tests we accept. Okay? So we need a bachelor's in sports science with a minimum grade of 2.5 in the German system. Of course, your bachelor's degree maybe has another grading system, but there are possibilities to convert your grades into the German system. For example, done by the modified Bavarian formula. So if you Google Bavarian formula and German grades, not a problem. You can add your grades, the minimum and maximum grade, and it spits out your converted grade. Okay, so sports science, English test, and everything else is on our website.
Yeah, thank you very much for this super interesting presentation.
You're welcome.
Regarding your comment about GPA, this is a really good point, and I just also put a link in the chat so that for those who are interested in transferring their points GPA into the German system, you can easily use one of these two websites because the German system is a bit different from others. Here, 1 is the best and 4 can be really bad, which is on the contrary in many countries. So keep an eye on that. Don't be afraid if you convert and you say it's 2, it's good if it's 2. So thank you very much. And let us quickly jump into the question, not to take a lot of your time. You mentioned, I received this question actually about English, and you suggested to see the website, because I also checked, it was clearly written, but this person seems to have also checked this, but still there's a question. If you have answer to this, because this person said that I have TOEFL, but I have it from 3 years ago. Will it be acceptable? Because TOEFL is usually 2 years, as a time span. Will 3 years ago be acceptable, or should this person take test again?
What kind of test is that? Is that one of the tests that is listed?
PBT test, it's listed also.
That is a good question, because usually we need a valid test. Mm-hmm. Sometimes I receive that inquiries, and I always say, okay, if the test is not valid, I cannot decide by myself. All these cases will automatically go to the university committee that's responsible for such applications. And it is possible that they say, that's fine. I mean, during COVID, sometimes it was not possible, and your English language skills won't change in 3 years or 2 years, which is my personal opinion. But I cannot guarantee that they say, that's okay, because we need valid tests. So if you show up with a test that was done 15 years ago, and it is possible that in the meantime you haven't spoken a word English, and the language you don't speak, you will forget it.
Yeah.
So that's an important point. That's why 3 years might be fine, but I cannot guarantee that. So make sure, guys, that you have a valid test results. That makes it easier for us and easier for you, because you have all the English requirements.
Okay, good to know. Thank you very much. Another question is a double-fold question. So, is there any age limit to get into your program, and is there a problem if there's a gap between bachelor and master? For example, this person has 4 years gap. Will it be a problem?
No. Okay. No, not at all. You could be 50 years old, you could be 18, so that doesn't matter. We only look on the requirements for your qualification. If you have a bachelor's degree, it doesn't matter if that's from 95 or 2005 or 2018. So that's all we look at. Okay, and then we check on our website. You can see a ranking. You can see all, because it's very transparent. So you can see how we create a ranking. You receive different points for your trade, for your motivational video, for your practical experience, and then we calculate a total point rate for you, and then we create a ranking. So that doesn't matter how old you are or when you obtained your bachelor's degree, doesn't matter.
Okay, great. Thank you. And also about deadlines. So are the deadlines the same for EU students and for international students? Because sometimes, okay.
So the deadline for all students, it doesn't matter if it's a German student or an international student, it is July the 15th. So make sure that you have your documents ready by that date. The portal on our website usually opens 6 weeks before the deadline. Okay. Mm-hmm. And if you, for example, if you have your English test results after the deadline, I'm sorry, your application needs to be complete by July the 15th. So all the applications that are incomplete won't be considered. I know that's harsh and strict, but we need to create fair conditions for everyone.
Fair enough. Thank you very much. And then last question that we will have, it is also from the chat. Mm-hmm. So this question asks whether there are any extra seats added for this year potential war refugees.
Mm-hmm. Is that because of Ukraine, or is that in general war refugees? I don't know. Okay. Yeah. That's an important aspect. No. The problem is our university is working on some sort of guideline, but I'm not into that, so I can't say anything here about that. But well, I'd say no, but maybe it's possible for some war refugees, maybe from the Ukraine. But what I definitely can say, you need to have all the requirements. Mm-hmm. Okay, so if you have not the grade or you have not the English test, there's nothing we can do. But I cannot really answer that question because that's out of my scope. So that's a general university thing that has nothing to do with our program. So I think there is no way how that might work. But yeah, so if you're really interested in our program and that applies to you, that you're a war refugee, please Google our university, and maybe at Saarland University, I don't know, application war refugees, I don't know exactly, but maybe you will find something written on our website. But for me, I'm sorry, I can't answer that question properly because, I'm not the one who can decide that.
Okay, fair enough. All right, thank you very much for your answers to these questions. And let's wrap up now. Thanks for all who joined us. Thanks for your questions. Of course, thank you very much, Dr. Florian, for this wonderful presentation and for answering the questions. If you have more questions to the program, the email was already provided during the presentation. I also put it in the chat. You can contact the representatives directly, or if you have any general questions regarding studying in Germany, of course, you can also contact us. Here is our email, info@mygermanuniversity.com, and also the link, the email is also in the chat. And yeah, also, if you would like to give us feedback for today's webinar so that we can see what were the concerns, what you liked, or what we could improve even further, you are more than welcome to leave the feedback on Facebook or Google. And here, I already shared with you the direct links in the chat. So yeah, thanks again. One more time, thank you very much, and have a nice evening.
Have a nice evening. Thank
Bye.
you. Bye.